minutes from the last meeting. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Auditor's report, who approved? You said that.
I didn't. Is that in every?
Any questions for Beth on the auditor's report? Beth, you got anything you're gonna say about the auditor's report?
No, the only thing that would probably be added to the rest of the year is your settlement payment. And then I think Barry was checking with Regions about another claim.
Yeah.
So,
We got a claim, we got 4 claims here approved today. Any questions for Beth? There's a couple claims that don't have to be paid that we're gonna approve today, and hopefully approve, and they'll have to be paid till February 1st. So,
he usually puts that in his letter and then we'll just hang on to him.
so that way we won't have to worry about transferring any funds until after the first year.
Okay.
Those 2 claims anyway. It's more than 100. Motion to approve audit report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, audit report, thank you, Beth. Claims,
Anything for me?
we have 4 claims. Claim number 176 to RME Insurance for $375. And that's for the bond, correct?
No, that is for your
Insurance.
warranty insurance.
Okay.
Well, your bond as the official.
Move to approve.
Excuse me?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
You said.
Aye.
Okay, claim 176 been approved for $375. Claim number 177, Emerson and Manhan for $4,531.25. And that's for the 1 year of service provided to this group.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion has been, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved for 177 for claim over. Claim 178 is to Regions Bank for $107,690.63. That is for, 2014 bond. It is not due until February 1st. So I wanna go ahead and get these 2 claims done, but they're gonna have to be paid for till January, just so they're there before the 1st of February. Questions? Motion?
So moved.
Second. My only question, why do we do that? Why wouldn't we handle it in January?
We're approving it now because if we don't have a January meeting, that does not give Beth enough time. It's past the due date. if for some reason the weather's not fit.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Last year, we didn't have a change.
So, that's why we're approving it now, Josh, so that way, it's gonna be on 2020 books and not 2019.
Yep.
So. We have a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, 178, claim 178's been approved. Claim 179 for Regis Bank for the 2015 bond, $49,584.38.
Move to approve.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claim 179's been approved for $49,584.38.
So you're not going to need a transfer because you'll have your settlement.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a settlement by January, so yeah.
Yeah, so that, is
Yeah,
that
that's fine.
another reason? Okay.
Thank you. No other claims then, Barry?
None.
Businesses wise, HWC agreement. Ryan's had a chance to go and scratch out or add on or whatever we needed a dashboard to do in the agreement. Do you have any questions for Brian since he's made the changes?
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve the agreement with HWC?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Brian, you got everything right this time.
3 months.
Shane,
Yes,
do you have anything from the city of Delphi?
I really don't.
I figured you'd hear when you called me Mr. Trapp, I figured you was on mine.
I was just trying to get a cookie out of that.
Well, get up there.
Yeah, hold on.
No, we should be closing on the bond. It's either this week or next week for phase 2 of the project. Looking at construction, probably tentatively spring of next year starting.
Say that again.
So we're gonna be closing on the bond this week or next. Construction tentatively spring of next year, getting started.
All righty, thank you. Laura?
Hey, Larry,
Hello, guys.
Six would be on.
could you sign those claims?
Yes. Just sign my name, that's it? Or just sign my name on, it's fine?
For the president.
Get it from them, they're the ones that
I have a copy of all.
You got a copy?
you're closer.
The
So they're the
original.
ones that should be giving it to me, but you're
I
closer.
have it.
Just make a copy.
Or you can email it to me. Do you want to email it to me?
Sorry, Laura.
You're fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
Yep.
Okay, well, from last month's meeting, which I couldn't attend, there was a question about insurance for the HHIP. And I sent Larry and Barry a copy of our insurance policy for the park. I don't know if you had a chance to review that, Barry, if that was satisfactory to you, or if you had some suggestions?
Yes, it is satisfactory to me. I did have a chance to.
Good deal. Well, I have an extra copy, I have two actually, if anyone would like to read insurance documents. Okay, so we're all good on that one?
Yeah.
And then, every year, the EDC presents the financials for the HHIP. I'm doing it a little earlier this year, so the financials are from January 1 through December 9th. Don't really expect a lot of expenses from now to the end of the year, unless we have snow. But I have, as part of our purchase agreement when the RDC sold the HHIP to the EDC. One of the requirements of the agreement was to present our annual financials. So these are the financials for 2019. Debbie, I can get you this copy as soon as I'm done.
That's fine, thank you, that's fine.
On the income side, we were a little, we were less than projected. Our owners association dues were less than anticipated, which is a good thing. Our expenses were down. In the past, we had partner support, usually utility partners, especially Wabash Valley Power, and the Carroll White REMC had given money, directed to the HHIP, while both gave funding to the EDC this year. They did not earmark it for a specific project, so it did not go in the HHIP fund. We've tried really hard to keep our expenses down this year because of the account dwindling, might be the best word for it. So you can see that our total expenses will be well under 50% of what was budgeted for 2019. And we just did the bare essentials, insurance and bonding. We just talked about the insurance policy we have for the park. We didn't use any, we've done a lot of mailings. We did not use HHIP funds for that. Our professional fees did not come out of the HHIP account. Technology and software, the 111540, that is for our LoopNet listing, which is a realtor-based subscription service that has generated a lot of leads and visibility for the HHIP. Property taxes, the utilities are for the light poles along Heartland Drive, and repairs and maintenance are for the mowing and snow removal. We switched our mowing contract this year or last year, significantly less than what it was before, and then we have the snow removal. We've talked about possibly going to the county and asking the county to do the snow removal for Heartland Drive, but it's imperative to the REMC that in inclement weather they can get in and out of the HHIP. So and that was that has been a marketing and selling point for us, and we'll talk a little bit later, but you know, as more industries come in there, they're going to have high expectations for Heartland Drive to be clear and salted, and you know, until we're in a crisis mode financially, I think it's worth keeping that in, or putting snow blade in front of it. One of the two. That would be a sight.
Anybody got any questions about the financials then from HHIP? Or?
What's left in the dwindling pot?
After everything's done, at the end of the year, it'll be about $7,000. So, you know, we expect that we'll have to use EDC general funds to offset HHIP expenses. That might be a good time to talk about some expenses that the EDC incurs that are eligible for TIF funds. So maybe we could, you know, kind of shuffle money around a little bit.
Could you give us, and it don't have to be today, a general idea of what category or whatever what EDC is spending that could be going to a TIF fund?
Yeah, and I've done a little bit of research on that, and I think Barry, maybe, that's kind of a legal opinion. Maybe we could get together and talk about what the, because we do a lot of marketing for the HHIP, and you know, I think marketing materials, things like that could be used, funds could be used. You have a expert in the room if you don't, you know, if it's okay with you to work through him on eligible expenses.
Okay. Thank you for
I have
that.
one more thing.
I know you, I know.
Oh, okay. Just planning on, I'm just gonna camp out here. We've been incredibly busy, and if you don't wanna take my word for it, you can take Josh's, because we've been working on a project together, that has been full speed ahead, and, Josh brought a lead to Carroll County, and we've been working with the company and the site selector, and have been giving them real estate options, and this is, unfortunately, in a public session, I can't say a lot of details about the project, but I anticipate if this project moves forward, we're gonna have to do an executive session so we can share more details about the project and you know, discuss another allocation area for the TIF district, because this is a large enough project that we will need a TIF allocation area to capture that increment. So I will keep you posted on that, but I can tell you that it looks very promising. Is that a fair assessment? And Josh has been like board member of the year, county councilman of the year, RDC member of the year. Sorry, Larry. And,
That's okay, I'll pass the one on.
okay, yes. Working with me on this, and it's been very helpful and greatly appreciated. We have another project that is considering the HHIP that we are the front runner for. It's really nice to be the front runner on two very large, attractive projects at the same time. I don't know, I don't want to be greedy and say, can we please spread this out, but and why in December, but it's great. And the second project requires a phase 2 environmental for the HHIP. We had a phase 1 done in 2009 by EnviroSense, came back clean, no reason to move forward with it, no reason to do a phase 2. But the phase 1 with the no RECs, is that the right term, Brian? RECs?
No environmental concerns.
ERCs, yes, thank you, sorry. It's only good for 6 months after the phase 1 was completed, and that was 10 years ago. This project requires a phase 2. I reached out to EnviroSense to, one, find out how quickly they could get the phase 2 done. They can have it done within 30 days. The complicated, or the waiting part is getting a digger scheduled to do the samples. That's scheduled for December 18th. The cost of a phase 2 in under 30 days is about $10,000. So I come humbly before you today to say that, one, this project is serious enough, and we are per the developer, the front runner, but they do require the phase 2. Would the RDC be willing to consider funding that phase 2? It will also come in handy for us with future projects. It's another document that we'll be able to present to prospects in the HHIP to show them that we are truly, shovel ready and good to go.
And it's the first or second project?
It's the second project.
And why do they need the phase 2 again?
I have not signed there's an NDA for this project. I haven't signed it yet.
But I mean, is it for lending purposes, or is it for,
The details are very limited at
Okay.
this time.
I'll make a motion to approve the 10,000, is 10,000 is the exact amount?
It's not the exact amount, it's approximately 10,000.
Okay, I make a motion to approve 10,000 for the environmental phase 2.
My question is, do you wanna approve 10,000, or do you wanna approve just having to pay for the, whatever it is, like this comes out as 12,000.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say up to 10,000.
Well, and I could bring, and then I can, bring the, invoice to you, as a claim so you can pay the contractor directly. Seems a little easier than using the EDC as a middleman. I said approximately 10,000, I think it was like 10,197, it was something like,
Well,
so it's almost like 10,000.
I rescind my last motion.
Sorry.
I'll make the motion that we approve, or that we pay for a phase two up to, say, $11,000.
Just curious, Laura, do most other, shovel-ready sites provide phase twos for their respective tenants?
Usually you don't have to have a phase two
That's what I asked.
because we have a clean phase
That's
one.
why I'm asking what, I'm trying to figure out incentive here for us.
Right, so,
I wanted to speak that way. I mean, we discussed this 6 months ago, or maybe a year ago, and like, doing a phase two is one of the things that Brian said we would have to do to, what's the, is it platinum or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
So it carries another level.
Right, so we, to make it like,
But typically, they only require the phase two if you have a concern on phase one. And this company may have looked at the site and said, well, you know, a lot of times with farming, if they see an old building or something close by, I mean, maybe they think with the turkey farm, there could have been some contamination, but they're probably just being ultra conservative and wanna make sure that they're not gonna have any problems. And I would agree with Laura, this is probably pretty serious if they're asking for a phase two.
right, yes, because the developer understands that the phase two is not necessary, and he has the phase one already, but, who he's, the,
Company,
company, yeah, that he's developed the project would be for, ultimately, has lots of requirements and no wiggle room in negotiating those.
So, not to share with us, but in your own mind, have you seen those requirements?
Yes,
And the rest of the requirements are something that we can handle and deal with? I mean, I don't wanna spend 10,000 and then there's another requirement 5 steps down that's gonna require something we can't meet.
right, so, I wouldn't come here today if, our site wasn't absolutely perfect. It meets every requirement. Last Friday night, I submitted the RFI. It had 9 attachments to it, 9 reports, the geotech report, floodplain, wetland delineation, geotech, topographical, Alta survey, title insurance. They're looking for 7 to 15 acres, flat, with, utilities to the site already. So a utilities map was also included on that. They didn't want any utility easements running through the property. We were able to provide, the secondary plat that showed no utility easements run through our lots. They're all on the boundaries. We've overcome every single hurdle that they've put in front of us. No other site has been submitted that has done that. The only thing we didn't have was the phase two, and, when I told them that I put in my RFI that, we're already under contract for the phase two with EnviroSense, and we have the scheduled for the dig on December 18th. I told Larry that, because time was of the essence, worst case scenario, we're taking a withdrawal out of the kids' college account, and I would write the check for $10,000 if I had to.
Laura, I think Michelle's just asking, do they need, 600,000 gallons of water a day, or is there anything, I don't think there's any other hurdles, but
Right.
there could always be something that they come back and say, well, your workforce doesn't meet this, or they may have some other crazy requirement, but I don't think Laura's seen anything that would suggest that at this point, so.
No, and it wasn't asked of us, but, we did run a labor pool report, that Region 4 Workforce Board did for us, showing the kind of manufacturing that this project does, what kind of pool we have in a 30-mile radius of the HHIP, It's 100 to 200 jobs at 60,000, average salary $60,000 with full benefits. So the kind of jobs that we're looking for, yeah.
Very nice. Motion?
I have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion to approve up to $11,000 for environmental phase 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, so Lori, you're gonna get up to that.
Thank you. I'll keep you posted on this project as well. When Christmas is coming early, I mean, I think both these projects are really exciting, and I know someone says that, I say that all the time, but I really don't. Like, I don't really get giddy anymore. I think I'm kind of jaded, actually, but I'm really giddy about these, so I will definitely keep you guys posted.
Where you say that phase 1 study is only good for 6 months, ours was 10 years ago. That would, to me, would mean that phase 1 is required.
Yeah, they seem to, EnviroSense is willing to do another phase 1 for us.
Sure.
But I was trying to just satisfy, the developer was okay with our phase 1 being 10 years old. EnviroSense explained that, the clear, no evidence of ERCs is only good for 6 months after the report was issued. So he was the one telling me that it's, time's up, might be time to do another one, but the developer was fine with our timeline. Might be something when things, calm down.
Yes.
We're doing the
Maybe
whole
it's
park.
Brian can answer this one easier than Laura, but if you do a phase 2, it's already,
It
phase
pretty
1
much-
is included into that phase 2 somehow?
So phase 1, I'm sure you can go to it, but it's more of a history of the site. They do a record search, they look on where there could be potential contaminants that might have affected the site. If there was any silos, gas stations, anything, laundromats or anything that could have contaminated. So they look in the history, and so it may look like a cornfield now, but 30 years ago, there was a laundromat on it and it contaminated everything. That's more of phase 1. The phase 2 will actually go out there and take borings, and usually, I don't know how EnviroSense do it, because we don't do that type of work, but usually if the phase 1 says, well, we saw a,
Oil spill.
or, we saw that there were, an above ground storage tank that the farmer used to fill his
Right.
tractor with. And they'll go out and they'll take samples there, and then they will recognize where that potential contaminant is. I guess they're just gonna have to go and do multiple borings around the site and kind of look and show
Yeah, if
that
they
it's
don't have
clean.
anything
'Cause-
noted on the phase 1, they're just gonna do quadrant stuff.
Yeah, and when we did the park, we put the pad, we graded, so the pads are there. And I can't imagine them finding anything, and I can't imagine them having any concerns for phase 1 to redo the phase 1, so.
Okay. I
Phase
guess
2 's
my
good.
thoughts is if phase 1's only good for 6 months and we're 10 years into this project, 10 years ago we did this and now we're doing a phase 2, well, wouldn't phase 1 and 2 really?
Yeah,
whether
phase
it's
2 will,
each-
phase 2 will show you that it's clean,
I was gonna say,
you could jump to a phase 2.
trumps phase 1.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
right. Okay. All right, thanks Laura, appreciate it. Believe me, I know what Laura's went through, nobody else does, and I know there's a lot of people that say they don't do a lot in PVC, but they are doing a lot, and it just takes time. And I know I've heard a couple comments made that when Laura made a presentation, she was better than everybody else that made other presentations. We had our ducks there, and ready to go, and other people didn't, but they didn't pick us, they went someplace else. And I found out a long time ago, you couldn't lead a horse to water and make him drink.
Well, Josh has had a front row view, the last
Yeah,
couple of
Laura's
weeks.
done an exceptional job. Definitely brag on her. Very compliant, very responsive, and deserves kudos for getting it either of these townhomes.
Okay, January 13th. I don't have any more, unless anybody else does.
Move to adjourn.
Oh, see?
That's your supper. Brian might remember, is there somebody that?
I let Brian take him back.
Been at all